Introducing Tundra Football League.
Well, hello, all my friends and fellow FTFLers. Welcome to the longest running weekly episodic update show here in the FTFL. That is right, it is the FTFL Weekly Update. I am your host, Brett Sieber, owner of the We Still Got a Chance Hulkamaniacs, and is, as and always will be, your true king of the FTFL. It has taken us, my friends, 20 seasons. 20 seasons, but we have finally done it. We have achieved, I believe, every single league sets out to achieve when they get together, form up, put the bylaws on paper. That's right. Top to bottom parity across the league. It is week 13 and every single team still has a chance. There's nothing else we could ask for. It speaks volumes of the talent of the teams in our league and the just overall quality of the people we have here in the FTFL. Round of applause to all of you. We made it happen. It took 20 years, but we have finally arrived. Now, one team in the mix would really like to be out of the mix. I don't know if you've looked. Jeff Marksher's lineup for this week is pretty terrible. He told me himself, I want to lose. I don't have a second round pick because I'm keeping Josh Jacobs. Let that sink in. Back when Jeff's team was really competitive. Now, on record-wise, he wasn't great, but scoring, phenomenal. Here we are, 4-8. He still has a chance, and he has sat on Josh Jacobs all year long. I will tell you this, I'm going to go back and I'm going to figure out, would Jeff have won or lost had Josh Jacobs played each week, just to see where Jeff would have been, because I have a feeling Jeff would have a better record and already in the playoffs if that was the case, and boy, oh boy, doesn't that just, yeah, that smells, reeks of decent awardness. So Jeff is trying to lose. He does not want to be in. Andy is on the other end of things. Not only is he in, he has the first round bye wrapped up, and with his win this past week, ties the regular season wins record at 11. This week has a shot to set the record against the man who currently he holds the record with, Adam Swart and his group of misfits. This week, we finally get to it, the long-awaited moment. We've been talking about the history of this great league, the FTFL, all season long. And today, you get the top 10 players in FTFL history. It is Thanksgiving. I hope all of you are going to have an absolute wonderful day, surrounded by family and friends and amazing food. Lastly, caught word that our good friend Bart is currently up for early release due to good behavior. Not sure where that's going to lead, but from here, we head to the games this week, and we go to a rematch from last week. The king of the FTFL coming in at 6-5, taking on Ryan Deesum, and if they weren't strapped up with 3 layers of duct tape, they'd be hanging in the bowl of gravy, titties and balls. At 5-6, and of course, Ryan last week beat the king as often as a lot of teams have done this year, which created just more whininess from the king. However, the king this week gets his revenge, 96 to Ryan, 62.5. Christian McCaffrey continues to dominate, 24.5 points. Would be a shame if Hagan loses this year, given the season that Christian McCaffrey has provided. George Kittle, welcome back, 21 points. Pittsburgh's defense, 11. Nick Foles in a spot start for 6 points. Devin Montgomery also in a spot start, 3 points. Both these guys in. Dak Prescott got benched. I know it was New England Patriots defense, and I guess he saw the conditions, so maybe that's why. In Montgomery's case, Dalvin Cook will be back this week. He was on bye. If you're decent, DJ Moore. Who? DJ Moore, 27 points. Before this week was averaging 8.7. Blew that out the water. Justin Tucker, 9. Le'Veon Bell, 8.5. That's right. Went from 27.5. His next high score was 9. 4 players were under 4. This week, however, the good news is if he wins, he's in the playoffs. Another person, if he were to win this week, he would also get in. The Architect coming in at 4-7, trying to put a stop to the streak of the radioactive monkeys. My goodness gracious, a 6-game winning streak, and it is over. 103.5 to 83.5. The funny part about this game is that Saltmarsh finally got what he was looking for out of Chris Godwin because Jameis Winston went off for Matt. 30 points, was throwing the ball all over the field, which he has done this year. Oddly enough, it is often rotated between Evans and between Godwin, rarely on the same week. This week, of course, with Godwin's, we'll get to that in a moment. OBJ for Matt had 17, was only the second time this season he has been in double digits. Devontae Adams, 13.5. San Fran's defense, 13. As I mentioned, he wins this week. If he wins the week 13, he is in the playoff. If you're Saltmarsh, you're already in. You're just waiting to see, can you win the division and get that first round bye? Godwin, 31.5 points. My goodness gracious. Been waiting on that. Finally, it came to DeAndre Hopkins, also put up 25. Everyone else was 5 or below. 2 players carried Saltmarsh's team. That is why 83.5. That is why the loss. Derek Carr in a spot start because of Cousins by 2 points. Brutal. The win streak is over. He gets a win and Sid loses. He becomes the division winner and gets a first round bye. The other team that is absolutely locked up the first round bye is Andy, coming in at 10-1, taking on Team Linkowitz at 4-7. Once upon a time, Team Linkowitz was 4-3. That's 4 straight losses in a row. Make it 5 because Lamar Jackson is absolutely unstoppable. Coming into Monday night, Andy was down, looked to be maybe out of reach, but then again, Lamar Jackson, I guess, was showing us that there's nothing that's ever out of reach. 38 points for him. He leads the league by 38 points over second place Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey? Yeah, maybe. I guess I know it's for second place. Michael Thomas, 17. Baltimore, 13. Alvin Kamara, 10.5. That's the thing in Andy's team where I look at Alvin Kamara, who has continued to be not 100%. If he finds his form with Lamar Jackson, this could just be over. If you're John, Derrick Henry, 26.5, Zach Ertz, 18, Calvin Ridley, 15, Tom Brady, 8. And there's been a lot mentioned about the slow decline, and maybe not even slow, but just sudden decline of Tom Brady and the New England offense. Now, this week was horrible conditions. I know John is hoping for him to get back on track. Granted, John not only needs a win, he also needs some help. Robert Woods found himself on the bench this week, had 9 points. Not that 9 points would have made a difference for John. However, I can't help but think that John is still upset about Lamar sitting out because John picked up and started Adrian Peterson. Blaming others for your shortcomings is not a way to success, Mr. Linkowitz. All right, we're going to take a break from the games. It's finally here. The moment I have really, let's be honest, when I started 20 years of the FTFL, it was really about this moment. Who, over the first 20 seasons of the FTFL, has been the absolute best player? Let's find out.
And now, the 20 years of the FTFL.
All right, so we've been waiting on this all season. In a lot of ways, this was the reason that I put this together. I wanted to know, over the 20 years of the FTFL, who was the greatest player? Now, I'll be honest, for personal reasons, due to lengthy discussions and tirades I've had even here on this show, regardless, I just wanted to know, of all the players in the league. Now, as I put together this list, some of the players that are on this make a ton of sense. They've been a part of our league pretty much for the entire time of its existence, which is amazing. There are a couple people that maybe, just maybe, we've forgotten a little bit about. Maybe a surprise or two, but we're going to work our way from 10 all the way to the top. I have a couple others that I've thrown in just to give you perspective. You know, some of the great running backs, some of the quarterbacks who haven't been around as long. And yes, this list is dominated by quarterbacks as we thought. That is why I went back and gave the running backs their special week with the greatest single seasons. Tomlinson doesn't even come close to sniffing this list as great as he was. And with that, I give you the top 10 greatest players in FTFL history. Number 10, the only non-quarterback on the list. You're like, wait, Brett, what? Non-quarter running back? No. There's every single year, you've got to be playing to accumulate points. You're like, well, duh, Brett, of course. So what accumulates points every single year, no matter who is on the team? That's right, the team itself. Defenses, keeping a defense has been really taboo, and I'm just waiting for Delinkowitz. Maybe, I don't think he has. I know in other leagues, I've heard of it happening. We kept a kicker, that's right. John kept a kicker that one year. Number 10, the Baltimore's defense, 2,488 points. Other defenses that got close were Kansas City, were Pittsburgh, were New England. Baltimore, though, the cream of the crop at number 10. Number 9, Carson Palmer. Carson Palmer, probably an underrated quarterback. He did have that massive knee injury, but really had an amazing run as an Arizona quarterback. Even in Oakland, too, 2,804 points. Coming in at number 8, Matty Ice. Matt Ryan, 2,832 and a half points in 11 seasons now as a starter. Just for comparison, some of the people on this list, 13, as we work our way up, 16 seasons. So, give him a few more. He probably works his way up the list. But for where we are now, that's where Matty Ice falls. Number 7, the boogeyman himself, Aaron Rodgers, 3,210 points, also in 11 seasons. You can see there a almost 400-point discrepancy between him and Matt Ryan, even though they've played. So, that is an amazing season. We've had a couple seasons over 400 throughout the years. Number 6, Eli Manning, coming in at 3,222 points. He, too, longevity. He never missed a game in his career. He got benched. He wasn't injured. When you play all those years, you accumulate a ton of points. Taking a break here halfway through, LaDainian Tomlinson, who I mentioned, great running back, 1,698. That's still 800 points shy of Baltimore. Frank Gore, who has been the absolute Iron Man, who has played more seasons as a running back in our league than any other running back, 1,633. He's behind Tomlinson in that regards. Running backs, receivers just don't get the points. The quarterbacks, of course, because of the 6-point touchdown, because of the 10-point touchdowns for passing. It just sets things apart. Number 5, Ben Roethlisberger, 3,518 and a half points. Number 4, the other Manning brother, Peyton Manning. Wow, Peyton Manning, number 4, right? Peyton Manning, 3,560, 13 seasons in our league now. He missed an entire season, so not bad for 12 whole seasons. One more than Rodgers and, 300 more points. So in that sense, yeah, Rodgers is kind of right there in the mix. As he continues to play, he will climb this list as well. Number 3, I hope in your head you're kind of going, all right, I kind of think I know who's left. 2 very obvious, maybe 1 not so much, and this is the not so much. Phillip Rivers, 3,654 points. Dude has been slinging sidearm forever. Number 2, are you ready for it? Because when I say number 2, you're going to know who number 1 is. Number 2, Tom Brady. 4,287 points. That's right, we jumped 600 points from number 3 to number 2 in 16 seasons in the FTFL. Now, he did miss a season, of course, with that knee injury. But number 2, 4,287. That means number 1 with 4,646 points is none other than Drew Brees. I've been saying it since the beginning, and I'll say it again. You owe it to me, and you owe it to the league to scratch my name. Sorry, not my name, but Drew Brees for a second-round pick. And you put down that I kept Braylon Edwards, because this guy, for a second-round pick, the greatest player in FTFL history, are you kidding me? You all continue to make yourself look like idiots by keeping me on the belt. And you think about it, a second-round pick for the greatest player, and at the time, 2007, that's 12 years ago, nobody knew just how great he was going to be except for me. And because of that, I dubbed myself the world champion general manager for the first 20 seasons of the FTFL. That's right. I'm the best general manager because I saw the talent in Drew Brees when no one else did, and now you all have to just wear it. Every time you look at the toilets, you have to think about to yourself that how terrible of a mistake we made and how bad of a league we play in. Drew Brees, your best player in the FTFL history. Maybe that's the last time I go off on that, but probably not. For now, back to the update. Are we surprised? I mean, in some ways, yes, and in some ways, no. But let's be real honest here, folks. I told you so. I told you so. All those years ago, I knew. What did you clowns do? You gave me the toilet seat. I'd like to say I got the last laugh, but being the best player in the FTFL doesn't actually win me titles. However, back in 2003, I did win the title. That's right. Right there, folks, for all of you to see. Speaking of titles, this next player owner has 3 of them. However, this season has fallen on hard times. Mana, 3-time Lucky Pants champ, you still owe me 4 cents. Mana coming in at 3-8, taking on, oh, that's right, me, the Hulkamaniacs at 4-7. Markster doesn't want to win. I do, because I understand that if you get in, you always have a chance. Jeff Markster, I guess, taking just like the Twins and folding up shop and quitting, not going for the extra mile, not really putting everything you can into it. Nah, we'll just wait for next year. Once upon a time, Jeff was the Bill Smith. Jeff was Ron can't win the big one Garden Fires. Jeff has hitched his wagon to the Twins mantra, and that is why Jeff is 3-8 and sitting on Josh Jacobs and having to give up a second-round pick. We're going to find out next week, Jeff. We're going to find out. Coming into this one, of course, I wanted to get a win, and boy, I came close. We came down to Monday night, and the Rams completely let me down. 81 points for Jeff, 80 for me. Terrible. If you're Jeff, Nick Chubb, 17.5. The Bills defense, 13. Allen Robinson put on 17. And Russell, stupid-faced Wilson, wasn't the reason I lost this week because he only had 10 points. Baker Mayfield, 28 on the bench. Jeff usually doesn't start him. And really, when you have stupid-faced Russell Wilson, I guess you have to play stupid-faced Russell Wilson. For me, Jarvis Landry, 25 points. In the first 7 weeks, he had 45 combined. Over the last 4 weeks, he's had 62.5. He has come alive. I don't know if it's going to be enough. Maybe too little, too late. Or too... Yeah, I think that's how you say that. Drew Brees, 24. Welcome back. Thank you. Jeff gave me crap about not studying Rodgers. Again, I am, as we saw, the greatest GM in the first 20 years of the FTFL. So don't question my move. Don't question the way I carry on my business. Kareem Hunt, 9, who seems to be finding his footing and maybe, just maybe, will be a player on a different team next year. 4 of my players were at 4 and under, including Todd Gurley. 1.5 points. 15 yards on 1 carry in the first quarter, blew through the hole, exploded. I've not seen that kind of quickness out of Todd Gurley all season. And then what did the Rams do for the rest of the game? Continue to just not get him the ball. Now, it doesn't help when your awesome defense fell behind rapidly to Lamar Jackson. You were kind of stuck, but in the end, you could have done more with Todd Gurley. You chose not to. I fall to 4-8. Jeff climbs to 4-8. Both of us still have a chance. We need to win, and we need help. Speaking of needing help, Eric at 4-7 coming on, taking in the overworked, underpaid, underappreciated log cabin pizza employees who are really trying to decide if they've got enough energy to riot all the way to the end at 8-3. For this week, a mild riot, not so much a quiet riot, a mild riot, 71 points to Eric, 68.5. Oh, so close. Eric, again, now in the big group of teams that is 4-8, struggling, fighting, hoping for a win and some help to get in. Adam Swart is in. It's depending on the seeding at this point. Leonard Fournette, 26.5 points. Leonard Fournette has had an interesting season. A couple weeks in double digits, a lot of just lulls. 26.5, blew it up. Jared Cook, 15. 5 of his players were at 4 and under. Deshaun Watson, 20 points on the bench. Didn't matter. He still got the win. Mark Ingram for Eric, 18.5. Mark Ingram has had a quietly good season. He is the 8th best running back in the league. Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones got a start this week. 14 points. Matt Prater, 11. Latavius Murray back in the double-digit column with 10. The real story here, though, is Jamison Crowder and Amari Cooper combined for 1 point. 1 point. Both of them hit their average. Eric wins this game, and he is in the driver's seat. Well, maybe kind of not. It's hard to say. But a lot closer to the playoffs than he is currently. Again, Adam Swart moves on to 9-3 and now has a chance to stop Andy and to keep him tied for regular season wins record. We'll see. It doesn't matter. Swart's in the playoff. Here we go. The stud, the dud, the decent in Week 13 matchups. Before we get out of here, stud of the week for the 3rd week in a row. Mama, there goes that man again, Lamar Jackson, 38 points in a come-from-behind victory for Andy, not for the Ravens. My God, if Andy wins the title, it will be because of Lamar Jackson and just his unstoppability. This guy is completely taking over the league and our league as well. The dud of the week, the entire Rams team. This is really something. Last year, you were in the Super Bowl and you got shown your ass by Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots. And ever since then, it has not been the same. I guess you can blame Todd Gurley's knee. However, we watch him run around and he seems to be okay. So you're either not telling us something or he's just fine. You paid Jared Goff. He's there and doesn't appear to be the answer. You have paid lots of your defense. You have traded away first-round picks. You have now the team you have for the foreseeable future, and it is going down in flames. 1.5 points for Todd Gurley. 1.5 points for a running back who has been over the 250 mark the last 3 seasons in a row. 1.5 points? 1.5. Rams, what is going... Your game plan was terrible. Terrible. Your team is terrible. You deserve what you get. You are the dud of the week. Well, and I should mention Amari Cooper, 0 points, has been averaging 10-plus points a week. He hits his average. Eric wins. But really, it's the Rams that are the worst. The decent, I'm going to have to say John. John has 5 losses in a row. He was 4-3 at one point, scoring lots of points, and in the upper echelon of the league, he is now clinging to playoff hopes. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. It's week 13, folks. Final week of the regular season, and I can't say it enough. We did it. Top to bottom parity. Everyone's got a chance. Big games at the top of the ledger. The Architect at 5-7 taking on Ryan Deesum. And falling asleep after all that food, nestling in, kind of wrapping them around like a blanket, titties and balls. At 5-7, winner of this game goes to the playoffs. Loser has a shot depending on what else happens with some of the other games, including the Hulkamaniacs at 4-8 taking on Team Linkowitz at 4-8. Again, win and get some help, and one of those teams is in. Monkeys 7-5 taking on the Pack Attack 4-8. Really, for Saltmarsh, it's about a first-round bye. For Eric, it is about trying to fight through that giant mob of 4-8 team. Mana, 3-time Lucky Pants champ, you still owe me 4 cents. Mana! At 4-8 with not wanting its playoff shot at all. How great would it be if Jeff Marks' team makes the playoffs? Please make that happen. Taking on the King at 7-5. And lastly, the Mixing Cocktails 11-1. 11-1. Going for the all-time wins record in a regular season. 12? Do I hear 12? Taking on the overworked, underappreciated, underpaid log cabin pizza employees about to ride at 9-3. Happy Thanksgiving, my friends. I enjoy being in this league. I'm thankful for a group of people that have kept this going for as long as we have. I look forward to all the time we spend together and just all the fun we have giving each other grief on the chat board and when we see each other in person. I hope you all have an amazing holiday. And until next week, peace!